All right, it's time to finish this out. And this is my first thing to nap today. So keep our fingers crossed that I haven't forgotten how to nap since last night. Yeah. Believe it or not, I can get rusty that quickly. I think I remember how this was napping. It was napping pretty well, except there's a chance for cracking along the edges. See that crack there? I think I did that crack. So there's still a remnant, right? Or it might be something that was already in there, but I think I did that crack. So it's prone to cracks, I think. So we're going to assume that yes, it is prone to cracks, and it's prone to step fracturing at the end of the flake. It doesn't feather out all that well at the end of the flake. Okay. So I need to keep that in mind because it's very thin. Okay. All right. Let's see. I'm going to move the edge on both sides toward this face. Yeah. It doesn't matter how I do it. I can do it with the Abrader, or I can be more careful and do it with the pressure flaker. I'm going to be more careful and do it with the pressure flaker. See, I can hit the edge with the Abrader and knock it all back, but it's not as accurate or as thorough as the pressure flaker. Now, the Abrader works well in the initial stages when it doesn't matter too much if you're really accurate. But in these final stages where it gets thin and finicky, it can't be expedient. Yeah. And I was reviewing the video from last night. I thought I'd be able to hear the rain in the background. But nope. This microphone is noise canceling. So unless I'm making a similar sound, like tapping or whatever, as the rain, it's not going to pick up the rain. So when I was tapping, it sounded like an echo. But what that was is just the microphone picking up the rain because it picked up the other sound that was similar to the rain when I tap or hit the stone. My new microphone is on its way. Hopefully it won't be cheap like this one. I spent some money on it. Cheap, but by way of the operation of the microphone. It won't. Hopefully it won't sound cheap. If it does, I'll have to spend more money because my phone microphone is not working. Yeah. If I can't get a good microphone, an external microphone, I'm going to have to get another phone. Yep. Another one. I just replaced it not long ago because the lenses were all cracked. Yeah. All right. So, I mean, I don't mind getting another phone. It's just that some of the apps that I have, I forget what my logins are, and sometimes I have new versions of the app and I don't have the new version. I forgot where I got the app from, and it's sometimes you have copycats that look similar to the app, but it's not the right one. I think my plant identifier app, I was going to get an upgrade or change it up, I think. But anyway, I was looking for it again on the internet, and I found one, but it wasn't the same one. It just looked the same because it had very similar logo. Anyway, that's the moral of the story is it can be a hassle to replace your phone because a few apps are difficult to replace. And I hate that. Yeah. Even a few, even if it's like maybe one or two apps that I cannot replace easily, this drives me nuts. Or I forget the username and the account that I set up. You know, it usually works that you can transfer everything from one phone to the next. Yeah, it's pretty good these days. You can get everything transferred over. But every time I do it, there's at least one app that didn't get transferred, either because it couldn't read it or it's got a security feature that it can't be copied over. I don't know what it is. And then I got to set up all my preferences again. Excuse me. I gotta watch when I clear my throat because the new microphone picks that up really well. Yeah. Or I should say, the external microphone that I'm using. All right, so what am I doing? I'm preparing for the last series of thinning flakes. After this series, there's enough people interested in those easy peasy flakes that I'm going to do more napping on this material with those easy peasy flakes that I took off of the initial nodule. Oh yes. I like the easy peasy stuff. I'm excited. Yeah, this is relatively easy peasy because it's nice material. As long as it doesn't crack, I'm okay. I've been doing all right. It grinds down easy. I can get relatively long flakes. I can live with the little step terminations at the end as long as the flake is long. Yeah. Doesn't bug me as long as I get a long flake. I know. I shouldn't really worry too much about the step fractures anyway. I've gotten so used to getting rid of them for the videos that I just do it automatically now. There we go. See, it leaves a little remnants at the end. And little step fractures at the end. It doesn't feather out that well. But it's okay, all right? It's okay because it thins. It thins well. Now somebody said that it looks like I painted myself into a corner with this one. And I might have because it's really thin. If you get it too thin before the final pass, it is just like painting yourself into a corner, that's for sure. Because now what do? If it's too thin to thin down further, and you're only halfway done. You've painted yourself into a corner, so to speak. Yeah. And what's my criteria, or why do I choose certain spots to hit first and not other spots? Yeah. You don't need to know what my motivations are. Nope. I figured out you don't need to know what my motivations are. What you need to know is what is a good spot to hit. Not why, but what is a good spot. A good spot to hit has concavity. From start to finish, a concavity. If you're napping into an area that's either flat or dished, it's going to be difficult because flakes like a concavity. And by difficult, I always mean step fracturing. It's difficult to nap it. Translation, step fracturing ahead. There's a sign that says step fracturing ahead. Yeah. That's what that means. When it's difficult to nap, it means step fracturing. It could also mean, crushing and that kind of stuff. But mostly what that means is step fracturing ahead. Yeah. There's nothing wrong with step fracturing in terms of the function of the blade. It'll still function. Unless it's severe. Severe step fracturing will interfere with the function because it's not smooth. If it's not smooth, it doesn't operate or cut very well. Other than that, it doesn't really interfere with the function of the blade. Minor step fracturings, they just look bad. Yeah. Now, if we weren't worried about step fractures, I wouldn't say it's difficult to knap. I would say that you're only going to get short flakes, or you're only going to get a certain thickness, that sort of thing. All right, this one's going to be a long flake. I got to make sure there's a convexity. I'm going to be knapping from, let's see, from here, down and through there. Now, it's probably not going to go all the way, so there's another avenue of approach. From here, but this one looks better here because it's not only thicker, but I think it's more convex. Here, let's see. Yeah. Although I'll have to probably not this striking area looks a little bit too low. And yeah, too low can be bad because the flake will only go a short distance. If you hit a low area inward, it'll stop and step fracture really fast. I know it doesn't make sense, but that's what happens. You would say, no, because it travels and sometimes it overshoots. No, not when it's like this. Not when it's, wide in comparison to the strength of the platform. Yeah, if it was a big old lump here and a big old lump here, yeah, then it might overshoot, but it's not. It's just a little thin area. It'll step fracture. You need a lot of meat on it to go across the whole blade. Some people say, but I see artifacts that are super thin with long flakes. Yeah, that's some sort of pressure flaking technique that maintains contact with the platform through the whole process. And these flakes that travel across the whole blade that are very, very thin and the blade looks flat, they travel by pushing their way. They push their way across. It's almost like a domino effect. Okay, it doesn't want to go very far, but it's still got pressure behind it because the pressure flaker, so it pops a little bit more, then pops a little bit more, pops. It's domino effect with that type of flaking. The type of flaking I'm doing right now with the indirect percussion is not a domino effect unless you get lucky. And when you get lucky, you can tell because it'll go a certain distance and then it'll stop, but then you'll see a secondary flake after that. It'll be two pieces. And it'll look like it should have stopped, but it continued. That's a partial domino effect because you're only getting two dominoes that fall, right? Or maybe three. No, I'm talking about many dominoes that fall when you have a long flake. And the guys who do the flake over grind, they kind of do it. They kind of know what I'm talking about. But their flakes it's a single flake. What I'm talking about is stuff that breaks up along the way. When you do a long, narrow flake across material like this, when you look at the flakes that come off, it's all kind of broken up. Okay? All right. Let's get to this before I forget how to knap because of all the yap. There we go. It didn't quite go in the direction that I was wanting it to go, okay? Because it doesn't want to go there. It doesn't. See, it's supposed to fan out this way and that way, but it liked this one a little bit better. It was supposed to travel more here, but it's okay. It got rid of a bunch of that. All right. Does talking about it make it worse? Oh, yes. It does make it worse. It makes it so it's difficult to get the exact setup that I need. Yeah. Tell us what the exact setup is. I'm dying to know what the exact setup is. My whole life is wanting to know what the exact setup is. What is it? I wish I could describe it, but even if I could, it would be different for you. Yeah, that's my cop out. But it's true. I could tell you what my exact setup is, but it would be different for you. I've shown people the exact setup when I'm helping them nap at a nap-in, and they're not able to do it until they tweak it for themselves somehow. Yeah. And sometimes they do better than I can do after they tweak it for themselves. Mm-hmm. All right. I don't know if it's the pollen today. They say the pollen is pretty bad. But as soon as I stepped out the front door, not only did the humidity hit me right in the face because it rained last night, but I'm feeling irritation in my lungs. You might say, yeah, it's good. It's good you're irritated because you're irritating me. People can't listen to my yap. Some people can't listen to it. Yeah, it's like fingernails on a chalkboard. And I get it. Yep. And that's like fingernails on a chalkboard too. With the stuff fracturing in the high spots. Excuse me. Hold on, let me get some water. All right. I think that's what it is also. I'm dehydrated because now that I think about it, I didn't drink any water this morning. I usually take a big swig of water first thing. I don't think I had any yet. That's what it must be. Yeah. All right. I gotta take a deep breath for this next one. And I should turn the fan on too and do a couple of jumping jacks. Get myself warmed up. This is going to be the critical hit. See if it did it. See, just thinking about jumping jacks got me in the right mood. Yes, it did. Yeah. Gosh, I got lucky. Keep fingers crossed, knock on wood, right? Where's the wood? Please, just one more lucky flake. And you might say, wait, you have that voice in your head too? Yeah, my inner voice sounds like, please let me do it. Let me do it. You don't think I get that pathetic voice out of thin air, do you? Yeah. All right, let's see. I don't know. Oh, see, that is lucky. That is a slight domino effect, because usually it would only go right to there. Back in the day when I first started, it would go right to there. But these days, I've learned to somehow improve my strikes so that the flaker stays in contact. I think what I do is the way I'm holding it is more firm and more deliberate than I used to do it in the old days when I first started. The secret to all this is keeping the flaker in contact with the striking area at just the right amount. It's a Goldilocks zone. Yeah. And you can vary it very subtly. That's a word, subtly. Once you put in lots of time, you can start to vary it. Put in some variation for these different lengths of flakes. All right, so let me turn the fan on because I am now sweaty. Okay. That was the end of the sweat stage. Should I make a part 3? I showed this part, and now I can show this part as a thumbnail. Yeah, let's do this in 3 parts. I need to go inside anyway. I need to clear my throat, maybe take some nasal spray. Yeah, I'm going to show this. I think this was the last thumbnail. If not, I'm going to take a picture so I can make sure. Yeah, that. And then this one for this thumbnail. And then I'll be right back. That's it.